Okay, so this is a video that I was supposed to make a really long time ago before I got into the beef and all that stuff with arson and yada 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 yada. So I thought I would just cover it now, get it out of the way, so we can stop doing these commentary videos because like I haven't been uploading GTA in my past 3 videos, so we got to get back to GTA, right? So just ignore the gameplay. The gameplay is kind of just filler because I feel like you guys see GTA all the time, and especially after this video, I'll be uploading GTA again. So whatever. Anyways, so why did I stop uploading? I was, so for the people that are confused about the title, I didn't fully stop uploading, right? I never fully stopped. I uploaded here and there throughout the year, but those of you who have been subscribed for a really long time, or like a really, really long time, like back when we were known as AXMX family instead of ILLX family, which, by the way, yes, this is ILLX family. I changed my name to Vex. If you guys are seeing this, I'll be changing my name to Vex in a couple days, so that way everyone sees this video and they know my channel name is officially Vex now. It's not ILLX family, so just had to throw that out. But basically, anyone who's a long-term sub or a long-term supporter or whatever, you guys know that I used to upload all the time. Like all the time. At least when I was in AXMX family, like we would always upload like 2 times a week, 3 times a week. Even if we couldn't do that, we would still make sure there was a video out weekly. And then it went from that to partial uploads here and there to a time where basically I completely stopped uploading. And when I would upload, it would be monthly. So I would upload probably like 1 month and then like skip 2 or 3 months and then upload again, and then yeah. So what happened? So basically, I ended up having some things go on in real life that basically made me just not really play the game. And when I did play the game, I was usually on like something more chill, like not toxic and drama filled like GTA. And what happened? So first things first is at, I want to say the start of 2019, I ended up losing my hearing, and that's actually around the time that the Rise crew was supposed to be a thing. I don't know if you guys remember Shoot 'Em Up and all them bringing it up, but they were supposed to be a Rise crew. Now, basically, what happened is like, I have this thing with my ears, where when you know how when you take a shower or go in the rain or water gets in your ear it drains the water out. How my ear is if water gets into my ear does not drain it. And what ends up happening is, let's say that I take a shower or I go swimming or something and water gets in my ears don't drain fluid. So it'll hold that fluid and then it'll eventually it'll infect my ears. And since there's water basically just stuck in my ears, that infection will basically end up closing my ears closed. And the water will be stuck in there and it basically makes me deaf. It's happened 1 time before. This is the 2nd time that it's happened. And it's pretty much like there's nothing that doctors or anyone can really do about it. It's more just something I have to put up with, because at some point in my life, and it might not be now, but it's pretty much something that I have to come to terms with, that at some point in my life I will go deaf, like permanently. I will not be able to hear anymore. But for now, I'm fine. So like I can take a certain amount of antibiotics, it'll open my ears back up, the water will eventually come out, I'll be able to hear again. But I get constant ear infections, constant, ear swelling, where I basically just can't hear anything. I go deaf, basically. And the reason why I stopped playing GTA is because it's like, dude, I can't hear. Like what am I going to do? I'm going to get on GTA, I can't talk to anybody, I can't hear anybody. I definitely can't make videos if I can't hear them. It's like, okay, so I would just go on like other games, like Skyrim or something. Now, I was deaf for probably like 2 months, 3 months. Where I literally couldn't hear at all, and basically that was a good portion of that year as to why I was uploading very, very rarely. And then things from that just got a lot worse. like a lot worse. I would actually say 2019 is probably the worst year I've ever had in my life. After my ear infections went away and the water came out and I could start to hear again, we ended up getting news from the vet about my dog. And my dog basically ended up getting cancer, basically. And it wasn't like regular, run-of-the-mill cancer where they're sick. She ended up basically getting a cancer cyst, I guess. You guys can look it up if you don't know what I mean, but basically a cancer cyst ended up blocking her urinal tract, like her vagina. And it made it so that she basically couldn't pee. And like, there's no medicine in the world that can get rid of that. And on top of that, like, since it's in her vagina, if they were to do surgery and take that cyst out, then she would actually lose feeling there, and she would basically start peeing on herself for the rest of her life, and she wouldn't be able to feel it. She wouldn't know that it's happening. It wouldn't be her fault. And it started to get to a certain point where basically they were like, listen, like, she's gonna have to go. Like, her time is up. And she was still very, like, she wasn't an old dog, really. I mean, I think she was like 6 years old, 7 years old, because she was a rescue dog, so we don't really know her exact age, but she was like 7 or 8 years old. And the thing that sucked about it is, like, she wasn't sick. Like, if you saw her, she was very playful, she was very happy, she was a very normal dog. But when it came time to pee and things like that, there was blood and there was just a lot of problems. And it got to a point where basically, like, if she didn't go, eventually that cyst was going to get so big that it would stop her from being able to pee, period. And eventually it would rupture her kidneys and she would bleed from inside out and die. So we ended up having to put her down. And that really sucked because, like, I grew up with that dog. She was a rescue dog. I love that dog. And that ended up making me just not want to upload at all. Like, that made me sick to my stomach. I did not want to upload. I didn't want to come to GTA. I didn't want to touch anything. Now, immediately after my dog gets put down, my grandmother owns a daycare where she basically, like, she takes care of kids or whatever. And my grandmother, I didn't grow up with my parents. Like, I didn't grow up with my mom. I didn't grow up with my dad. I grew up, like, basically like a lone child, like, by myself. And I lived with my grandmother for, like, most of my life, probably until I was, like, I don't know, like 12, 13. I don't know. It was probably like 9 or 10. I don't remember, but basically I lived with my grandmother for, like, most of my life. And I ended up getting back with my mom around the age of, like, 10 years old. And basically what ended up happening is my grandmother runs a daycare, and it's a daycare that's basically, like, right below her house, because she has her own personal daycare that's in her house, and it's in a basement. But it's, like, it's not a trashy basement. It's, like, all really nice. It's refurbished, whatever. But it's still a basement, and the floors there are still made out of concrete. And basically what ended up happening is one day she was sending a kid home with their parents. And this was literally, I would say 3 or 4 days after my dog got put down. So it was literally like my dog just died, and then this immediately happened right after. And basically my grandmother ended up stumbling down the stairs on her way back from, letting the kids leave. And she fell down the stairs and all the way down the stairs, and these stairs are like hard stairs. They're basement stairs, and then on top of that, it's a concrete floor, so she basically cracked her head open. And after she cracked her head open, then, like, she completely lost her memory. She had no idea who she was, where she was. She didn't know anyone's names, nothing. And we ended up having to, basically, like, me and my family, we ended up having to, like, take care of her and et cetera, et cetera. And that stopped me from uploading as well, because it's like, I'm sorry, like, as much as I love all of my subs and like everything that we've got going on here, like I'm not gonna let someone who raised me, like, you know, I'm not just gonna stand by. Like, YouTube can get put on hold. So that stopped me from uploading for even longer. Now, it took a very long time. She's not 100%, but she is better than what she was. It's permanent damage. There's nothing you can do. But like, she is somewhat back to normal. She remembers everything. She knows everything. She's fine. Now, immediately after that, my uncle gets sick. And my family is really small. I really don't have a lot of family. So like, my uncle ended up getting sick, like very, very, very sick, to the point where basically he ended up being put in the hospital. And that ended up taking a lot of my time as well, because he was hospitalized. So obviously, like, and this was after my grandmother got out of the hospital, my uncle gets put in the hospital. So then we're spending more time in the hospital, you know, while my dog just passed. This is literally all in like just the same like month or two. Like, it's not that far apart. And like, basically my uncle was in a coma for like a month, and like we would always go there, check on him, yada yada yada. And if you guys didn't know, this is not the only thing that I do. Like, I don't just, like, when people are like, oh, you need to get a life, like, you're a GTA tryhard, da, 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 da. Like, no, dude, I have a job. I go to school. I go to like these music classes, basically, because I do like play piano and guitar and stuff like that. And first off, my dog, I was not gonna let my dog go willingly. So you best believe that I took her to multiple vets and had her checked multiple times, because I wasn't just gonna take the word of one veterinarian that's like, oh yeah, it's time for your dog to go. No, I'm not. No. We're gonna get her checked by multiple vets. Every vet told her the same thing, that there's nothing at all that they could do. It's time for her to go. So obviously, naturally, I ended up getting stuck paying a lot of hospital bills, which means I have to work. And like, yeah, I can get paid by YouTube, but I really don't like taking donations or anything from you guys like that. I do YouTube more for the fun aspect of it, not for the money or anything like that. And that ended up basically getting me stuck paying the veterinarian bills and things like that for my dog. And then on top of that, how my schooling basically works is that I can only miss a certain amount of days. And naturally, with my grandmother laid out in the hospital, not knowing her own name, my dog just being put down, and my uncle being in a coma, you're absolutely right. I missed more than a couple of days of going to my classes. And they basically ended up suspending me, basically. And I basically had to fight with the school's board of administration to let me back in, so I could go back to my regular classes and stuff like that, because they have some stupid new scheduling system that it just makes no sense. But basically, like, it made it really, really difficult to even play GTA, let alone upload it as well. And then, like, on top of that, like, I already have enough stuff going on with, like, my uncle, my grandmother, my dog, I couldn't hear, I went deaf, like, I'm in the hospital, I literally have no idea what's going on. And like, the last thing I need to do is to come back to GTA and start beefing with some random dude on the other side of the world that I'm most likely never going to meet, and really doesn't mean all that much to me. Like, that's, you know, it's just common sense. Like, okay, GTA is cool, YouTube is cool, but like, not everything is about GTA and YouTube. Like, and that's what a lot of people fail to understand. Like, and basically what ended up happening is, like, I ended up losing basically all my views. Like, I was pulling a steady 30, 40, 50K views steadily. And then, you know, when you stop uploading, YouTube's algorithms basically just completely throw your views off. It's whatever. I don't care. I never started doing this for the views in the first place. But I just thought that you guys would all want to know. on top of the fact that like most of the ILLX members pretty much quit, we've been re-recruiting, getting new members, and I'm gonna be uploading again. Obviously, I've got my hearing back. My grandmother's out. My uncle is out. My dog. It's just been a bad year, and that's where I've been. If you guys are wondering like why I went from weekly uploads or daily uploads or just anything to like, oh, I'm gonna upload one video a month or one video every 2 months or 3 months, that's basically why. And it's like, I know that there were people that did see me on, because I wasn't completely quit PlayStation. Like, I did play some games, but they were more like chill games like Minecraft or Skyrim or something else where I really just don't have to try or care. But yeah, that's all that it was. This is the last commentary video that I'm uploading, I promise. We are done with this commentary stuff and done with these other games. We're going back to GTA, back to montages, CVCs, etc, etc, etc. But I just thought you guys would want to know, so that way we can move on. But yeah.